News 2 at 6.
On World News Tonight, this Tuesday, defiant words from Iraq, new threats to shoot down U.S. planes. Will it lead to another U.S. attack? It's not over yet. Bracing for floods in Oregon. In California, counting costs at the supermarket. And thousands of parents pulling children out of public school to give them a more Christian education. We'll take a closer look.
ABC News World Headquarters in New York. This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Connie Chung.
Good evening. We begin tonight with more defiance from Iraq. The war is still on, the Iraqi vice president said today. Iraq claims it is now patrolling the no-fly zones along its northern and southern borders and will shoot at any more planes that try to enter them. Pentagon officials say it's an effort by Saddam Hussein to provoke the U.S. into more military action, a day after the U.S. and Iraq traded fire. Today, the Pentagon released gun sight video of the U.S. attack on an Iraqi military site. ABC's Barry Serafin reports.
The Pentagon says this video shows an Iraqi surface-to-air missile being fired at U.S. planes yesterday, but it is extremely difficult to see. Military analysts say it is not the white spot in the crosshairs in the center, but to the right of that. It is not difficult to see what happened next, as American F-15s responded with laser-guided bombs. The U.S. flyers describing each hit on the missile battery as a splash.
Splash, splash. Lasers on. Splash.
There were a number of secondary explosions indicating that the bombs may have hit either explosives or missiles stored at the site.
6 bombs hit the target area.
Iraqi leaders today continue to insist that they will challenge U.S. planes. American officials do not believe a significant challenge will come from Iraq's Air Force, which is limited by training and maintenance problems. But missiles remain a concern.
There are hundreds of launchers available to the Iraqis, and they probably have several thousand surface-to-air missiles left. That means they can scatter these systems all over northern and southern Iraq.
In fact, there are 19 surface-to-air missile batteries unaccounted for in Iraq, some of them believed to be in the no-fly zones.
So it's a game of hide-and-seek in which we have a lot of assets, but it's also a game in which they can play well, and they're not risking very much.
The U.S. military is trying to downplay any sense of continuing crisis with Iraq, while at the same time stepping up its air reconnaissance search for Iraqi missile batteries, and making it clear that American planes will respond to any further challenges. Barry Serafin, ABC News at the Pentagon.
On Capitol Hill today, the first meeting of the Republican congressmen appointed to prosecute President Clinton in a Senate trial. They were beginning to plot their strategy, a strategy that might complicate the president's defense. ABC's Linda Douglas is on Capitol Hill tonight. Linda?
Connie, the men who will prosecute the president say they would like to call witnesses to the Senate trial to testify as long as the Senate will let them do that. They would like to call up to or as many as 15 witnesses, including Monica Lewinsky, though not including the independent counsel Kenneth Starr. And some of the House prosecutors want to delve into other material that was not presented to the House of Representatives, such as an allegation that President Clinton made an unwanted sexual advance on a woman 20 years ago. But at least one of the prosecuting congressman said he would object to digging into those new areas now.
I personally don't think that material should be used in the trial that was not brought up before the House Judiciary Committee or members of the House were not privy to formally before we voted on the articles of impeachment.
But others want the chance to bring in other evidence if the Senate will agree. And today, one key conservative senator said he will push for a thorough trial with no consideration of censure.
The right thing to do is to have a fair and speedy trial and to render a judgment, guilty or not guilty.
The Senate Republican leader Trent Lott said today he too favors an up or down vote on removing the president from office. And in an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Connie, Lott scoffed at the notion that no Democrat would vote to convict the president. He said, "What are they, all loony left?"
Thank you, Linda. Another scandal investigation is underway in Washington today, but of a much different nature. Today was the first meeting of a special commission to determine whether Salt Lake City used bribes to win the 2002 Winter Olympics. ABC's John Martin has details.
These ski slopes outside Salt Lake City are soon going to be filled, not with snowshoes, but gumshoes. Today, 1,800 miles away in Washington, the newest cop stepped onto the beat. Former federal judge and Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell is leading a U.S. Olympic Ethics Committee, trying to find out whether the city won the 2002 Winter Games fair and square or with money under the table.
We're going to look at it with an open mind. We're going to be as thorough as possible. We're going to try to be as fair as possible, but we're not going to prejudge it.
There are now 4 separate investigations into whether Salt Lake City won because it allegedly funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars in gifts to the commissioners who chose the city in 1995. The International Olympic gift limit then was $150. Did commissioners know not to accept more?
There were letter documents by the chair of the Evaluation Commission that cautioned the members from taking gifts of a substantial
But there were no
nature.
formal guidelines?
Not like there are now.
Concern about idealism is so intense, some want the Olympics abolished.
Time has come to organise games by some other way so that these kind of allegations, bribery or whatever, so that they don't happen.
So what will probably happen here is that Salt Lake will keep the games and the Mitchell team will draft rules to keep this from happening the next time, if there is a next time. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
In the Middle Eastern nation of Yemen today, a kidnapping of 16 foreign tourists has ended violently. 4 tourists were killed and 3 others, including an American, were seriously injured when troops stormed the kidnappers' hideout. The remaining hostages were freed. The kidnapping was carried out by the radical religious group Islamic Jihad, which is aligned with Saudi terrorist Osama bin Laden. When we come back, in the Northwest, a new weather worry, and in California, the damage is done.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Metamucil.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
Dave, come quick. This Super Bowl Sunday, the Prize Patrol could surprise you with $31 million. The one and only Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. Now, bigger than ever.
Get this check off of me.
You're short of breath. There's pain in your chest. You may be having a heart attack. Now, what do? Call an ambulance. Good. And take Bayer aspirin. It's now been proven that aspirin can do more than help prevent second heart attacks. Now, Bayer may actually help stop you from dying if you take it during a heart attack. Talk to your doctor now. Do you know where your Bayer is? Bayer, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
In the Pacific Northwest tonight, a mix of rain, melting snow, and mud is creating a weather nightmare. After heavy snows paralyzed the region, blocking roads and stranding travelers, the big worry now is flooding. ABC's Brian Rooney reports from Seattle.
Heavy rain fell this morning on the mountains east of Seattle, melting recent snowfall and creating a risk of snowslides. A National Guard tank was used to shoot down avalanches in mountain passes before they fell down on motorists. All this rain and melting snow is sending torrents of water downhill. 6 Washington rivers had some flooding today.
The Snoqualmie Falls are evidence of just how much water is going downriver. Right now, they're at 15,000 cubic feet per second. That's expected to go up to 25,000 cubic feet by tonight.
And further south, residents spent last night sandbagging in the town of McKenna, where the river was threatening to flood low-lying areas of town. It did flood in Pacific City on the Oregon coast, but the water was receding by this afternoon.
Yeah, we're a lot more fortunate than other people.
Francisco, the problem hasn't been rain. It's been 2 days of fog that has crippled air travel. The skies cleared today, but not all the confusion. This couple was held over for 2 days.
We started out from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to Honolulu. The high school band that my son marches in has been in Honolulu since Sunday.
Not only were passengers separated from families, as many as 5,000 pieces of luggage were separated from passengers.
Do you see it? I didn't see it either. It's the right shape, but it's the wrong color.
As they sort things out in San Francisco, it's still raining in the northwest, but that's expected to taper off, and most of the rivers should start dropping tomorrow. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Seattle.
The cold weather has done some of its worst damage in California's citrus groves. The full impact of last week's cold snap is only now becoming clear, and the cost could run as high as $600 million. Across the country, people will soon be seeing higher prices at the checkout counter. ABC's Lisa Salters reports from Porterville in the San Joaquin Valley.
Though the sun is now shining on Central California's citrus crops, the damage has been done. At this orange packing house, workers separate the good fruit from the bad.
We anticipate a loss of maybe 50% that's gone right now, and then we'll have to determine how we handle remaining 50% on the tree.
At wholesale produce markets across the country, buyers who supply local supermarkets are already starting to see the effects of the freeze. Orange prices have gone up 200% just in the past week.
Before the freeze, oranges were selling for about $8 to $10 a carton, and since the freeze, they've increased to $25 to $30.
A cost increase that will be passed along to the consumer this week.
They'll see retail prices go from, 50 to 70 cents a pound to $1.50 to $1.99 a pound.
There is some good news for citrus farmers trying to survive. Today, California's governor declared a state of emergency in the 4 hardest hit areas: Fresno, Kern, Madera, and Tulare counties.
It's very, very important to the survival of our industry.
Tom Avenellis relied on state and federal disaster assistance to come back from the last freeze in 1990 that not only wiped out the harvest for that year, but also killed many of the region's young citrus trees.
Just over the last couple years has much of the citrus industry really begun getting back on its feet again. And having this happen, it's going to be a real setback.
And like in 1990, some citrus growers may never recover. Lisa Salters, ABC News, Porterville, California.
In northern Nevada, investigators are looking into the worst slaughter of wild horses in a decade. The bodies of 25 horses have been discovered in an area known as Devil's Flat. Authorities say the animals had been shot at close range with a high-powered rifle. Just ahead, as the country's crime rates drop, one surprising exception.
It's my wife. I left her sitting right here.
How long has she been gone?
You don't think?
Aha.
What?
Checked out Red Hot Harry's?
No way. Lucinda gets really bad heartburn.
Not anymore, she doesn't.
What's that?
Looks like the remains of an individually wrapped Pepsid AC chewable.
Introducing Pepsid AC Chewables, the first chewable to stop heartburn before it starts. Lucinda? Is that you? Start living heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC Chewables.
Please, take your time. Just tell us what you saw, ma'am.
He was young. I'd say early 20s, maybe 130 pounds. He had hair. I mean, hair. His nose was like a carrot. Left ear was much larger than the right. Did I mention he wore an eye patch?
Ma'am, is this the man you saw?
No, this must be your first day.
Don't miss Ed's Head because you could win $11 million in the American Family Sweepstakes. Enter now.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring, it's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard-to-color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Start something special.
In a car commercial, you expect to see some fine print. Well, here's some of the finest darn print you'll ever see. For a short time, get 0.99 financing on all 99 Oldsmobiles. That means finance savings of up to $3,700 at the Start Something special event at your Oldsmobile dealer now.
On the money tonight, 8 straight days of gains in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That hasn't happened since 1996. The Dow was up today more than 94 points to close at 93.20. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up more than a point to close at 2181, a record high. The gains in the NASDAQ are being driven by the feeding frenzy over internet stocks. The housing market is booming. Sales of existing homes were up 2.7% last month, on pace to set a record for the year. There's also enormous demand for new homes. Builders will put up more square feet of housing this year than at any time in history. For many months now, Americans have been relieved to know that crime rates have fallen across the country. Many people no longer fear big city crime the way they used to. But the picture is not completely rosy. Just where you'd least expect it, out in the countryside, robberies are rising. ABC's Bob Woodruff reports.
In this little country store 3 years ago, Norman Herndon's wife, Joan, was murdered by an armed robber. She was working alone, and there were no witnesses.
I'm trying not to cry, but I still can't talk about it to nobody.
That murder marked the beginning of a terrible trend in rural Virginia. In the last 3 years, 10 shopkeepers in country stores have been killed in this state during armed robberies. And nationwide, as most crimes are falling, robberies in rural areas are up. Last year, almost 11%. So in Virginia, police are trying to change the way country store owners do business. They believe it is largely the physical layout of these stores that makes them a target. Too many places for criminals to hide.
Once you put a lock on his door, lock that door.
Too few precautions.
Put a mirror in that corner over there.
7-Eleven, the national chain, recognized this problem more than 2 decades ago. So they opened up the layout of their stores, they lowered their shelves, and they added more lights. Most of the cash is deposited into a computerized drop safe that cannot be opened by the clerk. Security cameras are always on, and the windows in the front are kept clean of advertisements so that clerks are in full view from the street. This program has cut 7-Eleven's robbery rate by 70% since 1976. Although small independent stores lack the money of large chains, Trooper Robert Hill says even minor improvements will help.
And what you have to do is very simple. Clean the area up, lock the door. It doesn't cost you anything but a few minutes of your time. And that could save your life.
After his wife was killed, Norman Herndon never made those changes to his store. He closed it down. The country, he says, is not the peaceful place it once was. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Buckingham County, Virginia.
In Australia, the search for more victims of that disastrous Sydney to Hobart yacht race has been called off. The bodies of 4 sailors have been recovered. 2 others are presumed to have drowned after a devastating storm hit the race. American Larry Ellison, a billionaire computer company executive and the winner of the race, said today he may even stop competing because of the experience. In a moment, why are more and more evangelical Christians giving up on public school? We'll take a closer look.
This Super Bowl Sunday, the Prize Patrol could surprise you with $31 million.
I'll drive.
The one and only Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes.
Whoa.
Now, bigger than ever.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
This could be the year you quit smoking. Zyban can help. It's a totally different way to quit. Not a patch, not a gum. Instead, the first pill that is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor can help you quit smoking. Zyban helps reduce your urge to smoke and makes quitting bearable. And now this can get you started with Zyban. A $5 coupon. Call 1-888-977-STOP to get yours. It's important to know there's a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you've had an eating or seizure disorder or are being treated with Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you're taking an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Zyban won't work for everyone, but this could be the year you become nicotine-free. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. And break free from nicotine. Break free from smoking.
be taught in a classroom. You won't find them in any textbook. And with Fixodent's long-lasting hold, you'll be ready, no matter where the lesson takes you. For long-lasting hold, Fixodent, and forget it.
No one knows more about the safety of pain relievers than doctors and hospitals. And the pain reliever they choose most? Tylenol. In fact, for pain relief, doctors recommend Tylenol more than all other brands combined. For over 20 years, Tylenol has been the first choice of doctors and hospitals. It's simply the most trusted combination of strength and safety in pain relief today. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at an extremely controversial trend in education. For years, there's been a vigorous debate about religion in public schools. But now, more and more evangelical Christians are giving up on the fight altogether. They're pulling children out of public school to give them a Christian education. Over the last decade, there's been a 400% increase in homeschooled children. Most are evangelical Christians. And there's been a 35% increase in private evangelical schools. Our religion editor, Peggy Wehmeyer, takes a closer look.
Chris and Casey Chapman spent 5 years at their local public school.
In Jesus' name we pray.
Then their parents decided the moral values and religious beliefs they were teaching their boys were being undermined at school. Sheila Chapman says her sons couldn't even talk about Jesus at Christmas.
We did celebrate Kwanzaa, which is an African religious holiday, and we did celebrate Hanukkah, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was about as Christmassy as you could get. That really bothered me.
If any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God.
It bothered her so much that last year, the Chapmans pulled Casey and Chris out of public school and sent them to church.
I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag, one Savior.
Our parents were saying, please start a school. We need you to help us with our children. How can you educate a person completely without God?
Well, we believe in Jesus. So Prestonwood Baptist Church opened a school where God is woven into the entire school day.
Dear God, we thank you.
From early morning chapel to social studies and English to afternoon Bible classes.
They had a flood and it almost killed everybody.
Parents are really concerned about the drug issue and the violence issues in the schools and the immorality in society and just the way that culture is going. And so this is a huge backlash.
The B-I-B-L-E, Bible! Now a group of conservative Christian leaders is calling for the withdrawal of all evangelical students, millions of them, from the public school system. They say their efforts at reforming the schools have failed and that now it's time to give up and turn to the church. Florida Minister James Kennedy has broadcast the campaign to educate children at home or at church on his national television program.
If you send them off to some public school, keep in mind that you are shooting dice with your children's eternal souls. It's a gamble that no Christian should be willing to make.
Public education leaders call the movement extremist.
Schools are not hostile to Christians. Lots more schools are working on teaching about religions in school and teaching core moral values. That's what parents want, and they can get that from public schools.
No one is expecting a mass exodus from the public schools, but for 2.5 million children and growing, home and church schools are becoming the classroom of choice. Peggy Wehmeyer, ABC News, Dallas.
When we come back, a splash of citrus, a hint of lavender in the most unlikely place.
When arthritis pain hurts, you want relief fast. But some pills can cause stomach irritation, rubs can have odor. Aspercream's different. Rubbing an Aspercream relieves minor arthritis pain. No stomach irritation, no odor. Aspercream. Pain relief without aspirin.
How are these? Bigger. This Super Bowl Sunday, the Prize Patrol could surprise you with $31 million. Bigger. The one and only Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. Now, bigger than ever.
I don't paste my dentures anymore. I bond them with C-Bond denture adhesive.
2 powerful adhesives in a micro-thin seal bonds dentures to gums.
can hold and fit comfortably all day. No messy cleanup.
Bond your dentures with C-Bond.
Want to have a party? Want to make a splash? This holiday, head to Red Lobster for party platters that make any holiday party extra special. Jumbo platters of shrimp and more shrimp. Tender crab claws for a crowd. Ready to pick up in an hour. Give us a call today. Escape to Red Lobster for your holiday party platters, because life on land is dry.
In hospital pharmacies, they dispense medicines that work fast. For heartburn, that's 1 minute Maalox.
It goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes.
Hospital pharmacies rely on Maalox. Shouldn't you?
Count on 1 minute Maalox.
The best cop show on TV.
I feel like I could read your mind.
I feel like I could read your mind.
Just got nominated for 2 Golden Globes. NYPD Blue.
I'm on a roll.
ABC tonight at 10/9 Central. Viewer discretion advised.
A brief review of our top story, more defiance from Iraq. The Pentagon released videotape today showing U.S. warplanes retaliating against an Iraqi missile attack yesterday. Iraq claims it is now patrolling the no-fly zones and will shoot any more planes that try to enter them. And finally tonight, a last word about innovation in, of all places, the Paris subway. The Paris Underground is usually spotless, which is a revelation to American tourists in France. Imagine fine art adorning the walls instead of graffiti. So, what's the problem? In a phrase, it stinks down there.
Stale, somewhat like the sewer a little bit.
The Paris transit people say the odor comes from the engines and the brakes on the trains. But regular riders know better.
Some people do their, I don't know the name, the same thing in Paris about the dogs in the streets.
Whatever the cause, the city decided to do something about it. That's perfume covering the floor. Yes, perfume. It'll take 18 tons of it at a cost of 2 million francs, or about $350,000. That's a lot of dollars for a scent.
I smell another perfume.
There is a hint of floral bouquet, as well as a touch of citrus, some lavender, wood, topped off with a dollop of vanilla. It's called Madeleine. The city hired one of the world's leading perfume makers to come up with this concoction. When added to the regular cleaning fluid, it appears to do the job. You'll have to take our word for it. You smell something here? That's our report on World News Tonight. Later on Nightline, the strong economy and a personal savings rate of 0. What does it all mean? I'm Connie Chung. Thank you for joining us tonight and for all of us at ABC News. Good night.
Tomorrow, liftoff. Destination Mars. The new way to see it, hear it, and find out what's beneath the surface. Watch World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.
A lot of people think acting is all fun and games. What they don't understand is how grueling it can be. For example, this scene, we shot 15 times.
By the way, you are the greatest lover I've ever had.
Work. Spin City, followed by Sports Night, 9/8 Central. See you tonight.
Whatever.
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.
I was afraid. You know, I was screaming, asking for help, but no one could hear me.
She was attacked in her driveway and robbed. Tonight, this Donaldson woman warns neighbors to beware. Good evening, everyone. She was not raped or seriously hurt, but she did lose her purse to her attacker. And according to police, Barbara Luther is not the only victim. As News 2's Christy Lowe tells us, detectives believe the same man may have attacked several women in the past couple of weeks.
Okay, I had parked my car under the carport